All right, so let it cool down a little bit. I actually pulled the manifold off, and I think you guys are going to be pretty impressed. Cleaned up and laid down one amazing looking stack of dimes. Woo! Look at that. Okay, so no idea how long it's been. I've been working on some other stuff, but I think I'm getting back to the manifold. I did a whole bunch of cleanup on it and test fit it on the engine as I would if I was gonna weld it, and I just didn't like it. It was not lining up as I was really hoping. I'm not sure if it's because of the kind of angled cut that it just doesn't want to sit right. It wants to tweak anytime I tighten it down. So I'm gonna go with the backup plan, and that is cutting the fuel rails for the mounting holes and using the mounting holes to line it up side to side. So I'll, tighten down the fuel rail to both of these mounting points on both sides. So that should set both the distance between them and try and make them somewhat aligned this way. All right, as you can see here, I got the manifold mocked up. Stop that real quick. So I had the camera battery die on me during the time lapse of finishing up the fuel rail. Well, that's warm. But it's done. Both of them are done as far as the mounting holes. So I got those mounted up. They fit really nice. I like it. But I still need to come back and drill the injector ports, which is no big deal. This is just really to mock up so that I can weld it. Been just having the heat gun chilling on the tripod to preheat the manifold. Have little infrared gun. Probably doesn't work very well on this reflective surface. Yeah, it's definitely hotter than that. Yeah, I mean, it's hot to the point where I can't really even touch it. The alignment is way better than I was expecting. I think the fuel rails helped out significantly with just like aligning those mounting surfaces. Now the manifold's lining up much better. So, the better it lines up, the less likelihood that we're gonna have to cut lots of material off to make it, mate with the head very well. I think I'm gonna wind up having to send it off to a machine shop and have them mill those surfaces. I'm also going to have them mill the throttle body surface because I had to weld up a couple of the throttle body mounting holes weren't lining up on the throttle body that I bought. So I'm going to have to re-drill 2 mounting holes, and then there was this random hole up here which I filled in. But yeah, it won't fit on my mini mill. It's too small to fit this, this manifold. If it was like maybe 2 inches smaller, it'd probably fit, but sadly, no go. So yeah, I'm gonna keep heating it up for a while, and then I might actually even try and tack it today, put a couple stitches on it, and yeah, hopefully it works. Well, the time lapse decided to stop recording, so I got a couple tacks on it on the top. It's not the prettiest thing, but I think they're getting in there pretty good. Again, I'm gonna try and weld this from the inside too, so I'm gonna try and get a couple on the bottom. Well, definitely not my best looking welds, but they seem to be penetrating at least, you know, into the V groove, which I should be able to get to the other side and do the same thing. This is extremely thick, so I really don't even think that, you know, this full 1/4 inch thick cast aluminum needs to be welded. It's probably, you know, reasonable to only weld like half, you know, 1/8 of an inch, but you know, I want to get all the way around. That way it's solid and doesn't cause me any issues in the future. You can see I got a couple stitches down in the valley area. I'm pretty much welded the whole top. You know, I'm probably going to wind up going over all of this once I have it off of the motor. So I might just let it cool down and then finish welding it up on the bench. That way it's a little bit easier to get to all these places. Maybe just flip it over, stitch the other side, and then fully weld it. So yeah, that's pretty good progress. So yeah, wait for it to cool down and unbolt it and see if I totally screwed it up. Hopefully I didn't. Alright, so let it cool down a little bit. I actually pulled the manifold off, and I think you guys are going to be pretty impressed. Cleaned up and laid down one amazing looking stack of dimes. Woo! Look at that! In all seriousness, I let it cool off, and I'm going to clean it up now and be able to hopefully weld it a little bit more comfortable, and hopefully I'll get a little bit better looking weld. I don't really think it matters that much what it looks like, because it seems like this is definitely going to hold. So I just have to clean it up a ton and then get to welding. I almost went to start welding it again and realized that it's pretty much cold. So I'm gonna let the heat gun sit on it for a while, because I used the propane torch, but I'm not sure if that left, you know, some kind of contaminants, and it was very difficult to try and get it clean again on the engine. So I don't really think I need that much heat, but I would like to try and get it up to, like, I don't know, 100 or so degrees. So I'll just let it sit with the heat gun on it for, I don't know, 30 minutes or so, and then I'll try and continue welding on it.
20 minutes later.
I think that's enough heat. So we'll go ahead and set that aside. I guess I gotta turn the welder on. Well, figured out what was messing me up. That looks much better. I just turned the helium off. The intake manifold was getting hot enough that I was like, okay, I'm barely even using like, you know, half the amps in the machine with the helium. So I just shut the helium off, and now the welds look great. So I guess that was I don't know why. I guess the first time I'm using helium, so maybe I'm doing it wrong, but I'm using like maybe 5 CFH of helium and like 20 CFH of argon, so like I was only using like a very small amount, so I really don't know why it would be so bad looking, but I guess I'm just gonna have to weld the manifold with argon for the rest of the way. So it seems like it's working just fine, and that's like the thickest part of the manifold, so once I got some heat into the part, it just started, you know, going pretty quick. If anything, I could probably use a little bit bigger filler rod because I'm having to stab it in super fast, but oh well, I think it'll work. So we'll just let it cool down and keep trucking away. Well, I think that's pretty much all the welding on the outside. It's getting to the point where I couldn't even hold the torch, so I was actually holding it with the TIG finger that I bought. Probably not recommended. I probably could have hurt my torch or burned something up. But it looks like it's coming together pretty good. I still have to weld on the inside. I might have to come up with some kind of like zip tie something to here so I can actually hold it all the way back there, but I put a few dabs on the inside. But yeah, it's going to be tough to get to, but I think it'll come out all right. I'm still really frustrated how the helium did not work out as I was hoping. So really I just had to kind of wait a little bit on some spots until the heat built up, and then it would start to kind of puddle in. The inside corners were pretty tough, but the couple spots on the inside corners I'm going to be able to easily get to both sides, so shouldn't have any issues with that. And I put put a bunch of passes pretty much on every seam, so hopefully that works. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna end this off here, and we'll catch you guys next time. See you later.